Call meeting to order. Pledge allegiance, Councilmember White.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Larkey.
Here.
Councilmember White.
Here.
Councilmember Thompson. Here. Councilmember Davidson.
Here.
Councilmember Pryan.
Here.
Councilmember Lawson.
Here.
Councilmember Richardson.
Here.
Councilmember McCallum.
Here.
Councilmember Johnson.
Here.
We have a quorum. Roll personal appearances, none. Unfinished business, none. New business. 1, motion approving resolution 2026-001.
A resolution approving a memorandum of understanding with Heart and Hand for reimbursement for certain costs related to operating a warming shelter.
Present.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. You're up.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The resolution that you have before you this evening is similar to the one that the council considered last year. This is for a reimbursement program to Heart and Hand for certain expenses related to operating their warming shelter at their location. The Homelessness Committee took application for this reimbursement and considered it at its December 4th meeting, voting unanimously 8-0 to approve Heart and Hand as the recipient of the reimbursement. The only difference with this year's reimbursement application was the inclusion of an MOU in the packet that council saw. Primarily, this was due at the request of Heart and Hand as part of some ongoing grant funding. I believe Sam is here. I should have looked before I stood up. But Sam Newby, the director of Heart and Hand, he did indicate that for future grant funding and some other reasons on their end, kind of some technical as well as some administrative reasons, they preferred the MOU approach. The way we structure the program, the way we structure the payments, and the verification that we'll do on the staff side is not changed at all. Really just memorialized by that document that both will agree to. Happy to answer any questions about the program or this year's reimbursement.
Go ahead.
So they're not really asking for any new security services. This is just to memorialize what's really being done right now.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so there's no new concerns or anything like that? Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
To be clear, we're currently not discussing the MOU, is that right?
No, so the first item, the 2026 one, is the reimbursement program. What Heart and Hand had requested was that we have an MOU specifically just for the reimbursement
But
program.
that's number 2, okay.
Yeah, correct. There's a second MOU with Heart and Hand that is also on the agenda.
Oh, so okay, so then maybe it's going into, so there's 2 MOUs at hand here, the first one being about the reimbursement?
Yeah,
Okay.
strictly, yeah.
All right, I do have questions on that one as well, so I think I saw a hand up before mine.
Your light's out. Go ahead.
Okay, I didn't know who you were pointing at up there, Mayor. Did we increase, Mike, the money that we gave them this year? Did we up the ante for, I know it was $10,000 last year and we've increased it this year?
Correct, it's 15,000 this year.
Okay, and do we get any data from, for instance, how many people stay, how many nights are they open? What services are provided during that warming center time?
Yes, as part of the council packet and within the narrative that Heart and Hand submitted to the Homelessness Committee as part of their application, they have some information in there about how many individuals were served, some of the items that specifically were reimbursed as part of the program as well.
Okay, and so I know that we talked about this extensively last year, and we know that Belton is not the leading arrow for solving the homeless issue. So, but I'm wondering if, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't have a warming shelter, but could we possibly think about in the future using that money to provide different services other than, I know that we need a warming shelter, we also need a cooling shelter, but we also need services that helps people get driver's license, and I'm wondering if that money could be spent, or could we say, in addition to you keep them warm, could you let us know what other services you're providing?
Absolutely, and I know we have Sam here who is with Heart and Hand, and they have a variety of other services that they provide to those that take advantage of the warming center. As for the reimbursement program as a whole, we certainly could, based on council direction, have other recipients of that. Just in the last 2 years, Heart and Hand has been the only applicant and the only recipient for that reimbursement.
And have we designated it only for warming shelters, or, I mean, have we said that you can only use this money for warming shelters, or, okay, because I know that we've been talking about this for several years, and I don't see and I'm not in the loop, but I would like to see, just for me personally, some kind of branching out of things that we're providing, and they may do that. So anyhow, that's just what I have to say.
Go ahead.
Similar thought process, I guess, was, honestly, I think I asked this exact same question last year. What happens if we have another, and let me actually preface all of this by saying, I strongly support Heart and Hand. I personally donate to them. My family donates to them in many different ways throughout the year. I believe they're a great organization. This is not in any way, shape, or form a message about Heart and Hand. I just want to throw that out there. But I do, in this role, I'm expected to, ask some questions and follow up with where our money's going. What if we have another organization that steps up and says, hey, I can provide a service with, $7,500, half of the money or whatever? Are we locked in at that point with this, or how does this transpire?
So based on, since we are kind of coming to the end of the fiscal year for this program, this being our only application, staff's recommendation is approval for kind of the full amount for this program. The application reopens at the beginning of the new fiscal year, and we have the application open during the entirety of the year. And if other applicants were to take advantage of it, you would see those recommendations coming from the Homelessness Committee to the council here for consideration.
Because one of the things
Can I?
Hold on. Go ahead.
One of the things I think we discussed last year at some point was that this is, especially the centers to keep people safe, is extremely important, and this is a great first step, but we kind of saw it as a first step. So just, kind of similar, maybe not the same, but similar to Councilmember Thompson, that, just like to see, I guess, more potential. Sure. That's all.
Go ahead now.
To your statement, when we brought this forward, the idea was we may have several different agencies that might be applying, and so the money might be divided up between several agencies. So, yes, they can.
Yeah, and I understand, just to make sure I'm clear, I understand, we are almost at the end of our fiscal year, and at this point, there's been no other applications, so with a couple months left, makes perfect sense, and maybe next year we'll have a different conversation, but I understand, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I may. Can I make a suggestion to the mayor and the council that we can have a portion of this conversation as we go through the budgeting process? One of the things that we like to utilize the budget for is a planning document, so that way, as we're planning our programming for the year, not that we have to program every single dollar at every single level, but for things that are special, things that go above it, that are outside the normal scope of our services, if we want to be supportive of those types of activities, those types of services, I would recommend that we have that conversation if we want to put money somewhere else. It kind of helps us plan. It helps other organizations plan as they're going throughout their year as well. If they're trying to provide a warming shelter and there's a risk of us not providing the funding in the future, that'd be probably responsible of us to let them know that as we're going through our budgeting process. And so I know this number is at $15,000. It's below the council requirement, but the MOU does require the council approval, and this is obviously a very political issue, so I think that we should go ahead and have that conversation as part of the budgeting process. If you want to add more money, discuss splitting up the money, let's try to have that conversation during the budgeting process so we know where we're going and everybody else can plan as well.
Go ahead.
I'm just going to say, I know I've worked with Heart and Hand with the Warming Center. Anybody that would like to see all the different programs that they do during the day to help these people, they should just go down and visit. They help them get driver's license. They do a lot of stuff. They get medical care. It's not just feeding them. There's a lot of other stuff that is going on. So it's well worth anybody's time to go and take a tour of the building and visit with these people that work there.
Go ahead.
For the record, I agree. I think that's a great suggestion, but we may not all have the time to do that. So getting an overview from somewhere somehow would potentially be helpful here. That's all I'm saying.
Go ahead.
I frequent Heart and Hand. Shirley's on speed dial for me, so, but I had some questions, just about accountability, and I feel like that's my job. So I work often with Heart and Hand, and their kitchen and their pantry is better than mine, so there you go.
Go ahead.
And I agree with everything everybody said, and I certainly support Heart and Hand in this effort, but because the MOU talks about wraparound services, if we could get a list of what those are and what's actually being offered right now, that would be helpful, I think, to council moving forward into the seasons.
I think that's a good suggestion, yep.
Mr. Mayor, just to kind of piggyback on what Joe said and also to answer in a roundabout way Councilmember McCollum's question about like exclusivity, the city does not enter into exclusive contracts unless it is required for like to put something on the Apple Store, right? That is an exclusive type of thing. So when we are approving warming shelters or other services or even other contracts, there is not some sort of limit where we cannot, if another entity were to come around, were to file an application, where we could not have two entities running warming shelters or situations like that.
It's great to hear. I guess the reason for the question was simply that the way this is worded, it appears as though we have an exclusive situation. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Anybody else? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 2, motion approving resolution 2026-002.
A resolution approving the formalization of the memorandum of understanding between Heart and Hand Ministries and the Belton Police Department.
Present.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. You're up, sir.
Scott Lyons, Police Chief. What you have in front of you tonight is a resolution for the Police Department to sign a memorandum of understanding with Heart and Hand. And we've been talking with Heart and Hand about this MOU for about the last month and a half. We had hoped to maybe get it on the agenda prior to tonight because there is a timing issue for them in regards to a grant they are applying for with HUD for homeless. And so the MOU is simply a document that meets their requirements to apply for this grant. The police department and Heart and Hand, as well as the city, as you know, have a great relationship. And our police officers are always interacting with Heart and Hand on various levels, whether it's in the field or answering questions or providing assistance.
Any questions? Go ahead.
Well, I think you pretty much answered my one big question I had on this, which is, what's the point here?
Yes.
Because I was reading through it going, okay, we're defining what the police already do, we're defining what Heart and Hand already does, why are we entering into this MOU when we're just all in agreement here? So, thank you. So this is for a grant. Is this, do we
Yes.
know, is it state, federal, what?
It's a federal grant, it's HUD, and so.
Oh, you said that, HUD, okay. Okay, thank you, that's what I needed.
All right.
Anybody else? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I'm sorry, I should have added that they would like to have this signed tomorrow if there needed to be a second vote.
Make a motion for second reading.
There's not a second.
No, that's not
Resolution.
necessary.
Resolution.
Oh, it's resolution, oh, sorry.
Item 3, motion approving resolution 2026-003.
A resolution amending the Public Arts Commission membership and changing the commission name.
Present.
Second.
Have a motion and a second.
Yes, thank you. Let me get my notes up.
You're up.
So in 2023, the City Council established the Public Arts Commission. Just like the Tourism Committee recently, The intent of the Public Arts Commission is to have a citizen identity with city staff supporting in a professional support role. This particular resolution removes city staff from, or rather moves them to an ex officio position, and also changes the name to Public Arts Committee instead of Commission, just like other advisory committees. It's very similar to the tourism one that we did back in November. So later in this meeting, there will also be an appointment to appoint and reappoint the members of the Public Arts Committee.
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda, one motion not available to approve the recommendations noted. Any member of the council may ask for an item to be taken from the consent agenda for discussion and separate action.
Present.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. H, communication from City Council, Councilmember Johnson.
Don't have anything tonight, thank you.
Councilmember McCallum.
Well, I just want to say, I think this has probably been the best city council meeting we've had all year. So just want to say thank you. Thank you for that. And looking back on 2025, I want to take a moment to just say thank you to everyone that got involved in the city happenings. Whether it was a call, email, message of some kind to your local council member, whether you volunteered maybe at stream cleanup or something like that, or participated in a council meeting itself, or maybe dedicated your time as an appointed member of one of our committees. Just want to say thank you to everybody that made 2025 an awesome year. TDD board, I don't have any updates from at this time. We'll be meeting later this month. And parks, of course, I have several updates. Believe it or not, it is time to talk about spring sports. The signups for soccer, volleyball, softball, baseball, and flag football are all underway. Just go to the parks website in order to be able to register. This Saturday, January 17th, the Kids Night Out will be at High Blue from 5 to 9 p.m. And then Saturday, January 31st, there will be a Princess Tea Party at High Blue taking place from 1 to 3 p.m. And then pretty exciting news, the new playground for Wallace Park has officially been ordered, and we should see a rendering of that some point, maybe next week even, on social media. So we should see that come out pretty soon. So exciting things going on at parks. That's everything I have.
Councilmember Richardson.
I have a couple questions. My first one's for Public Works. I have a resident in Ward 3, and I've asked this question. I've sent an email to Joe, but I didn't really get a great answer. Her water bill kept going up. She only used under the minimum, and it went up from 58 to, I believe, 64, and then from 64 up to 72 for a couple months, and was asking questions. And supposedly, the answer that she got was that they put a larger water meter on her, and there's an extra charge for that? Is that true, or?
No, that's not true. And the issue was resolved with the property owner, and the new billing should reflect that. I'd rather not talk about specifics of individual bills in the middle of a council meeting. And so, like I said, this already was addressed with the individual
Okay.
who.
Well, I was just trying to figure out, because I'm like, we've had other water bills issues in the past, and I want to make sure, like, somebody else didn't get in that same issue. That's
Yeah,
the
we've
reason I
got,
brought it up.
8,000 users, so every once in a while, we do have an issue or two that arise, and so we try to take care of those as quickly as we can.
Okay. And my other question was for, like, permitting and codes. I have another resident, business owner, that had a permit, and I believe it expired, and they renewed it a month or two later, I believe, is what had happened. And after they renewed it on October 3rd, they wrote them a ticket on October 9th for a container that they had out there that they were storing stuff in. Can we write tickets after you get a
Again, this
new
was a specific
permit?
issue with a specific individual, and I do not feel like it's appropriate to discuss individual code enforcement matters
Okay.
in a public meeting like this. I mean, if it was an overall policy, that was an issue that we wanted to discuss, that this is an appropriate venue for that, but Yeah, this was.
Well, I've
specific issue.
I've sent emails and asked for answers, but I've never gotten them, so I figured I'd bring them up to the directors and find out why the issues were going, and so, that's all I got.
I missed the last planning commission meeting, unfortunately, so I have nothing at this time.
Well, I went on January, I believe it was the 6th, to Parks and had a fun time at the bingo that they support, and all the items were donated to the Belton Education Foundation. It was a good time.
Councilmember Thompson.
2025 was an awesome year, I think, for Belton. I will compliment Parks on their new lighting at Memorial Park. It is certainly eye-catching, and it certainly will do the job. So good work, Parks.
Councilmember White.
I don't have anything.
I don't have anything either, so city manager.
Yeah, we have a few things coming up that are noteworthy. On Thursday, there will be a neighborhood meeting for the proposed new development, 163rd Street in Given, across from the Price Chopper. That'll be on Thursday at 5:30 PM in here in the chambers. And then there's going to be a budget workshop next Wednesday, December 21st, again here in the council chambers at 6 PM. So just want everybody to know that.
Okay, items for review and discussion. Number one, 163rd District rezoning and preliminary development plan.
Yeah, we've received the formal rezoning and preliminary development plan request for the 163rd District project covering 40 acres at the northwest and southwest corners of 163rd Street and Given Street, also known as the Hales property. I did pass out at your seats the preliminary site plan. There may be some additional changes to it, but this is pretty much what's been proposed and will be coming forward. North is on the left side, so if you rotate it 90 degrees to the right, that'll probably give you a better view of what you're used to looking at with north on the top. The developer Petra is requesting to rezone the property from C2 General Commercial to C2 PUD, which is General Commercial with a plan unit development, which would accommodate the mixed-use development with 150,000 square feet of commercial uses, including entertainment and restaurants, and 592 multifamily units and a mix of apartments and mixed-use buildings with ground floor retail. The apartments are all on the south side, and then the mixed-use buildings are up in the northwest corner of the property to the west of the entertainment use. This PUD zoning will accommodate reduced setbacks and on-street parking to provide a more pedestrian-friendly environment with wide sidewalks and outdoor seating. Additionally, the PUD will allow ground floor residential units in mixed use, or in the multifamily buildings. As Joe mentioned, there's the neighborhood meeting this Thursday from 5:30 to 6:30 here in the council chambers. Both staff and the development team will be available to answer any questions and address comments and concerns with the proposal. And a public hearing will be held by the Planning Commission on Tuesday, February 3rd, with this project anticipated to be presented to the City Council on February 24th.
Any questions? Go ahead.
There's, is this the full amount of the property, or is there more space? Like, is there,
That is the entirety of the 40 acres.
okay. Is the plan, how much of the plan do we know? Is it phases?
So we have asked them for phasing plans, so we should have all that prior to the Planning Commission. But in our conversations with the development team, they would like their first phase to go ahead and be getting the infrastructure in for both street sections, and possibly starting on the entertainment use first with the south apartment section, south of the green space, also being part of that first phase.
I really wanted to see townhouses. We had, I'll say it a little louder. I was kind of mumbling there, but we had, initial discussions on this where, this obviously fits in line on a mixed use, as it is mixed use. One of the exciting things that were initially talked about was potentially things like townhouses, and So it would be nice to see that. I'm throwing that out there as a potential idea, just saying.
Anybody else? All right, hearing none, we'll go on to the next thing. Item 2, utility easement vacation, 231 North Cedar Street.
Yeah, the second sheet there has the location of what's being proposed. There's a partial vacation request for utility easement at 231 North Cedar Street, which is the undeveloped lot just south of the Valvoline that's currently under construction. The developer is requesting a partial vacation of the easement to accommodate a multi-tenant shopping center sign at this location. Staff has reviewed the request and recommends denial of the request based on the feedback received from multiple utilities, including water, sewer, gas, and AT&T communications, that would protect future needs within the easement. This utility corridor is less than 50% developed, and additional improvements could be needed in the future that could impact utilities, including relocations or expansions. The Planning Commission held their public hearing on this item last Tuesday, and after discussion unanimously recommended denial of the request, and this request will come before council on January 27th.
Go ahead.
There's already a sign across on the other side of the road, right?
Correct.
Go ahead.
This proposal appears to be eliminating that other sign on the other side of the road. Or is that something we're asking them to do, or is that just what they're proposing?
So what they were proposing to do is remove the sign on the other side of the access drive, the south side there in front of Price Chopper, and build a new sign at this location. But we have, in the staff report, you'll see all of the reasons for the recommendation for denial, which include other possible locations for this sign, and again, the feedback that we've received from the utility companies.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead, either one of you go.
On the easement, have we ever approved a situation like this before?
We have approved vacations of utility easements. However, very rarely, if ever, we approve those if there are any utilities that are not consenting to that request.
And I was at the planning meeting last week, and how long, I was under the impression, the speaker said he had worked with the city on this sign for the last year and a half, 2 years. So what's, changed in that area to prevent having a sign put up? I know the easement, but it just doesn't make sense if he's worked with you.
So they've actually been proposing the sign at this location, and we've consistently told them no to this location. But ultimately, they would not accept the no from staff and provide another location for the sign. And so their next option, if they're not going to go with staff's recommendation, they can take it through the process, and then city council has the final say on that.
I just didn't know if, it just seems strange. Because I know signage is important. We're putting up new signage in the city.
Yeah, we fully support a monument sign that, like they're proposing somewhere in the shopping center, but they have not presented alternative locations that would be outside of this easement, and protecting the easement is our primary concern.
Okay, because okay. Thanks.
Do we have any prospective folks for that other empty lot? And that may not be the place, this may not be the time to ask that, but I just was curious because
We have not received any updates on any potential tenants there, but that's another one of our reasons for not supporting the vacation, is because the sign going there further eliminates the buildable area of that property.
Well, and it certainly eliminates the kind of road that they'd have to have through there to put any businesses there, right?
Correct. It would
Yeah.
be pretty tight to provide access, especially if you're having a drive-through facility.
Were we promised things there and they haven't materialized, or?
I don't know if promise is the right word, but I recall that discussion, and that discussion was that we were gonna get a swig with the Valvoline.
We were gonna get a swig, and I think one time we even talked about a slider place or something there, so. just curious.
Yeah, and I think it is the same developer who's requesting the sign, so as we discuss this, when it does come back to council for formal discussion and formal vote, it is definitely appropriate to ask about, that buildable space, what's happening with that next, what happened to the items that were potentially, I don't know if promised is the right word, but definitely talked about during public meeting when the Valvoline was up for approval.
Well, I've been such a fan of that business being built there. It would be nice to see something that was nice next to it.
Anybody else? Hearing none. Item 3, parkland dedication.
Is it up?
Not yet. There it is.
There it is. All right, you guys can see it. There it is. All right. Yeah, this is just a precursor to the resolution that will be coming forth to you guys. Is it not up anymore?
Well, we lost the
We lost it.
right, our right.
Yeah, can you put it
I
on
don't,
both?
I think the only one that,
It was on both.
All right, so yeah, so as council can see, highlighted are the park properties that have been identified. The green one is the one that's platted, and we didn't realize this till recently, that most of the parks are not officially platted and submitted. And so Wallace Park, we did that process mostly because we had the fire station and the police station as part of the same piece of land, so we want to make sure those were separated and not included. But if you'll recall, we had the discussion during the Parks Empowerment Act back in August about the idea of identifying what the parkland is. There was conversation in a previous, issue that came up for vote about, well, what is parkland, and technically, how do you define it? And then there was some vagueness previously about what people thought was parkland. And so this is just a clarifying resolution, so to speak, just to say, okay, in our charter, it says any parkland that is going to be sold or disposed of, there should be involved a consultation with the park board as part of that process. And I don't think any of us have a problem with that, obviously. It's in the charter, and so this essentially just delineates what is parkland, since there's no legal delineation of what is parkland, unless it has some sort of a deed restriction, and not all of these properties have deeds and deed restrictions for that to take place. And so the way we came up with this is we essentially just went on there and looked to see what parks were there. I ran the precursory map by parks by Kevin, and he said, yeah, add this, you missed this, we added that. And so if there's one that we have missed, the park board will be looking over this, I assume, at their next meeting next week, and so we can get that added before the resolution, but I think we've pretty much caught everything. Any questions on this as we prepare the resolution and the supporting documentation for the 27th?
Well,
were you waiting for us to look at this, to send this to Parks, or has it already been sent?
I went ahead to send it to Kevin and said, hey, go ahead and send it, share it with your park board. There's
only
no
had-
secrets here. This is a collaborative effort for us to decide, give us a formal definition of what parkland is.
I guess I only asked to serve as a reminder from the last park board meeting that both of us were at, where they had made that request to
Sure.
see it, so that's the only reason I brought it up.
Yep. Any other questions, thoughts, or
anybody
concerns?
else? Go ahead.
Just for clarification, this is just to identify so that if in the future we were in a position where we wanted to sell a piece of property, we would know this has been designated as a park and we need to do the consultation with parks, correct?
Yes, I think, clarity is kindness, and I think that in ongoing efforts to improve, relations between the council and the park board and staff, non-park staff and the park board, the more clear we can be in some of these issues, the easier it is for everybody to know what the next steps are when questions arise.
Anybody else?
I guess the only thing I'd add to what you were bringing up there is the other thing I would expect, I guess, from a city staff perspective is if we were to ever add a park, we would also have to update the resolution, and the fact that the resolution exists would kind of be a precursor even if, you know, all of us are no longer on city council anymore, I'm assuming the next city council that would be a precursor to say, hey, we should probably update this. So it should serve as a, you know, a good, helpful reminder. of
Yeah,
things.
and I'd like to put a link in the future to in our website under parks, highlighting this map and the resolution in addition to any other parks
Perfect.
links that need to take place.
Anybody else? All right. Item L, motion to enter an executive session, discuss matters pertaining to legal actions according to Missouri State Statute 610.021.1 pertaining to leasing and purchase, sale of real estate according to Missouri State Statute 610.021.2 pertaining to negotiated contracts according to Missouri State Statute 610.021.12, and the record be closed and the meeting adjourned from there.
Present.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember McCallum,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lawson, I'm sorry,
Aye.
Richardson,
Aye.
Davidson,
Yes.
Pryan,
Aye.
Thompson,
Yes?
White,
Aye.
Mayor Larky.
Yes, motion passes.